And there we go. Good
We're
day,
back.
everyone. Yes, we are back.
There
How
you
you doing, buddy?
go. I'm doing good. Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Doing pretty good.
Happy
It's a
Friday.
Friday.
Happy Friday to the internet world, huh?
Yeah. Happy Friday to everyone out there. You know, those kids, they always come up with something good, don't they? Friday.
Yes, they do. They're always coming up with something.
Exactly. Well, welcome to the Rude Barton podcast, everyone. Right over here to my
Yeah.
right is Rude. How you doing, bud?
Stage right. Stage
Yeah.
left.
Yeah, it's just with the mirroring. I get flipped on which is way, but anyway, that's
Yeah.
rude. I'm Barn. How's everyone doing out there? Yeah, we're gonna get into some topics today. That'll be a little bit interesting. But we kind of do our takes on various things that we kind of come across around the internet and the world itself. And today we're going to be talking about Tulsi Gabbard. If you guys don't know, Tulsi Gabbard was a Democratic nominee for the president of the United States back in what was that 2020, and she beat out Kamala Harris, by the way. She was not, she didn't get any votes, but Tulsi got a few percent of the vote. And I kind of liked her. I liked her a lot back then, for the Democrat candidate. And um, to be honest with you, we all know that Bernie had no chance because the establishment didn't want him, but they wanted Joe.
They wanted Joe.
They wanted Joe. Poor Hillary is the same thing. Bernie got screwed by Hillary, and then Hillary got screwed by Trump, and then now Joe got screwed over everybody else by the establishment. Anyway, so it's
Joe
rather
screwed the country.
Joe screwed a lot of things and people,
Yeah.
and would love to sniff more little girls' hair when they meet him, but we've all seen those videos. I'm not saying anything you haven't seen out there. It's not like me, hyperbole. That's real
It's
life.
up.
Yeah,
It happened
it happened.
on
It
live
happened.
TV.
Exactly. So here's the thing. You've probably heard now that Tulsi decided, you know what? I think the Democrat Party has gone way overboard and kind of gone off the rails. And in her mind, she's a former military servicewoman and did a great job. And I believe she's still reserve. I think she's still active reserve. I can't remember. But anyway, she was there for the fires that happened in Maui and Lahaina that burned down Lahaina. Unfortunately, I've been to that town in Maui, and it was one of my favorite towns. I went there probably 20 years ago, 25 years ago, and it put such an impression in me. I just loved it. It was just so cool. It was great. So to have it burn down really kind of hit my heart, and I was just like, just it
Yeah.
took something out of me. It really did.
It was horrible.
Yeah. So Tulsi, being a congresswoman from Hawaii, this was obviously close to her heart, close to her home, and so she went there and tried to help with all of that. Of course, our government only sent households $700, I believe, for their hardships of having their whole freaking town and their houses and their businesses and everything burned to the ground. And I want to revisit that because we just went through the 1 year anniversary on the 8th of August, and
Mhm.
they're trying to rebuild. And I've been following. There's just a lot of weird shit that went on with that.
Yeah,
And
there was a lot of unanswered questions with that whole thing.
yeah, it's like how if the heat was so intense from the fire, why did it burn this car to the ground, but then not more than 15 yards away, a tree is still left standing and is green. I'm
Yeah.
sorry if you've ever been near a fire, an apartment building or something that's been that heat is pretty intense, and you
Mhm.
can feel it. And anything that's flammable, like a tree, normally burns. I mean, there's grassy areas that burned within feet of cars and other things that have burned down. You're just like, it's so weird. It could be natural, probably most likely natural, but you have to look at it and say that just doesn't look natural. Anyway,
No.
so she was there and she's been great at trying to help everybody kind of get back on their feet and keep the vultures from swooping in and buying up all the land from these poor people who have no home or anything anymore, and it's sad. So anyway, she's also been a critic of the Ukraine war, and probably
Mhm.
rightly so in my opinion. I think that this is a non-winnable war. This is a proxy war. This is a way for the military industrial complex and other people like Zelensky to launder money and have a nice bank account and property all around the world. What do you think on that one?
I think that it doesn't make sense how we can send. I mean, that just right off the bat is where my head went, is how we can send billions after billions after billions over there to a
Hundreds of
proxy war.
billions,
Yeah. But we put $700 to each family
Yeah.
that lost their
Oh.
homes and their
Oh,
livelihood and their
thank you,
whole
sir. Yeah.
way of living. And that's our own country. Like
Right.
that juxtaposition. I don't know.
Juxtaposition of that, or
Juxtaposition. Yeah, sorry. It's
got you, baby.
yeah, it was early, but
Yeah.
it's getting past in here.
You're good.
Yeah, between that just is flabbergasting.
Right.
I was upset with that in the whole beginning, and that was one of my gripes about and not to go off the rails here, but that was one of my gripes about sending so much money over there, is that
Yeah.
we're not taking care of our own. And why aren't we taking
Right.
care of our own first?
Exactly.
And then helping those people out. I don't understand that.
I-
Doesn't make sense.
I think we're all for helping people around the world when situations are bad, but this one could have been avoided. First of all, the whole Ukraine thing. I mean, Boris Johnson, the former prime minister of the UK, was told to not negotiate a deal with Putin, which they could have ended the war before it even started. And a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't know about that whole thing. A lot of people don't know about the Lahaina situation. It's just because it's been swept under the rug. It's been kept from everybody, and nobody really. Oh yeah, I heard about a fire, but nobody pays attention. I got life. I don't want to pay attention to this, that, and the other. But if you don't really see what's kind of going on. So Tulsi has been bringing up these points, these issues that seem to be unfair to the American people, right? And
Mm-hmm.
and just like we're talking about, it's like I'm more than happy to help when we can, but like you put the mask on yourself in a plane first, and then you put it on your child. We need to help
Exactly.
ourselves first. We got so many. I don't know. Have you seen people on the streets in tents or anything at all anywhere ever? Around? I
Dude,
don't.
I was riding around downtown last night, and in places where I've never seen those groups.
Yeah.
There were groups, there were hardcore groups, and I'm like, wow, it is getting
Worse.
It is getting so bad. We're almost daily, you know what I mean? And that's Salt Lake, for
Yeah.
goodness sake. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Oh yeah. But how is that humane?
Yeah, and we're
Yeah.
one of the cleaner cities out there, you know?
Right. But people complain, well, it's humane. We can't, move these people. It's not fair to them. But it's not fair to us. We're taxpayers. We're citizens. We have rights as well. It's like we don't need to be walking over people when we're down. We talked about this before.
Right.
So
And
anyway, sorry, go ahead, man.
no, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, no, and it's the situations that why are we not helping these people? Why are we not getting these mentally unstable people back into some sort of facility, institution, whatever you want to call it? We were just down in Vegas for my birthday a couple weeks ago, a couple weeks ago. And I swear to God, I got up in the morning to get some coffee and things like that, bringing it back up to my wife up in the room. And I was on Fremont in the morning, and there was hardly anybody down there, but there were a few people by 9 o'clock in the morning. And I saw this guy, and it doesn't matter, but just so you can understand the description, he was a black guy, shirt off. It was 100 degrees already, and he was in like these long pants, shirt off, and he was walking around like this. His eyes were like freaking. I'm like, oh my God, they're walking zombies, man.
Yeah.
That's not fair to him to let him have to walk around, try to beg for money, try to steal money, try to steal food, try to whatever he was doing. And it's not fair to, if my wife was down there and she was the one getting coffee while I maybe was doing something else, sleeping. I don't know. Anyway, just hanging out in the room. Look, woman, you go. No, I'm just kidding. I would have been very worried and concerned for her safety, that I don't know if that guy is going to walk around. I was worried for me. I was just like, okay, I'm going to avoid this guy. I don't know if he
Well,
can
that's
snap at a second, you know? I mean, you never
you
know.
know, and that was the point that I was going to bring up. Exactly that point is okay, so we don't know exactly what's going on with him. Okay,
Right.
maybe he's mentally unstable. Maybe he's drugged himself up.
Yeah.
Okay, but the thing is that poses a threat
Hmm.
to mine and my family's safety.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that's not fair. And
Right.
that's the thing that these people are saying that, complaining that it's not humane to move them. Well, but it's not humane for
Or
me to live
safe.
in fear. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, we're safe for me to live in fear to walk down a fairly like known street, you know what I mean, in
Right.
Vegas or
Yeah.
down here, you know what I mean, with my family, you know what I mean, and I just that's
It's crazy. It's inhumane. It's not right, and it's not fair for people who are just taking. I mean, I saw families, parents taking their kids walking down at that time of day he was walking around, and not just him. There were people of all you know races who are zombie like who are walking down, and you just you're avoiding everybody. It's not, and I'm not trying to paint a picture
yeah,
here
no,
of something. Yeah, and I'm not, and it's just it's like, oh my god, this is we cannot let this go on. People will not go visit, businesses will close. You can't have, as if I were a business owner and these guys are walking into my business or try, and then of course they don't have any money, so what are they going to try to, maybe, I don't know, fork out their credit card to buy whatever it is they need? No, they're going to probably just five-finger discount that son of a bee and walk out the door, right?
well,
So
and
there's that on top of it.
you can only be asked for change or a dollar or
Yeah.
something like that so many damn times
Hmm.
before you just don't want to go to that store anymore. You don't want to go to that gas station anymore.
Not
You
going to go to
don't want
those
to go to
bars or restaurants downtown. Yeah.
yeah. You don't want to go to that pharmacy anymore. You know what I mean? And it's and that's the thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then unfortunately, these businesses, lose their customer base and they have to shut down. I mean, classic example is the North Temple area. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Here.
Yeah.
For years and years, it got so bad because that's where they all congregated. You know what I mean? In that
Right.
area and by those train tracks and stuff like that. And what happened? Everything died
Yeah.
down there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Between Redwood and the overpass there.
Yeah.
Everything, all the businesses died. All there were
You didn't want to
hotels, there
drive
were
through there.
grocery
No,
stores.
exactly.
Yeah, you didn't even want to drive through yet there.
Yeah.
Yeah. There
Yeah.
were churches, you know what I mean, that shut down, all that kind of stuff. Now they're doing a revitalization, thing down there, which I think is good in a way,
Hmm.
but still, I wouldn't buy a $3,000 a month condo over there.
Yeah.
Hell no.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Well, and it's like we can't just keep throwing money at the problem. We talked about this. We probably want to do another video on it, but in California, they spent the $24 billion to end the homeless problem, and they can't even account for where that money went, and it's
Yeah.
worse than it's ever been. So we have problems here in our own country, in our own backyard. Tulsi has oddly enough brought a lot of this to light, a lot of this to attention of everybody, and the Ukraine war and questioning that. And hey, she's been questioning everything. And now all of a sudden, she
Everything.
has questioning everything.
Everything.
She has been put on the, what do they call it? The Silent Skies. I think is what it's called. Silent Skies Terror Watch List, if you can believe that. Tulsi, does she seem like a domestic terrorist, somebody who's fought for her country and is helping everybody in Lahaina and trying to make life a little bit better, and has decided, you know what, the Democrat Party are just off the rails, I'm going independent? And I think that's great. That's what more people should do. So we have this going on, and all of a sudden she's been put on this watch list, and you have to wonder, okay, we can't allow people to speak out, because what are we next, dude? We talk about this stuff and somebody sees it, and all of a sudden we can't fly. My wife is going, why do you have to say stuff? Because now you can't go anywhere. And I'm like, but that's the whole point. You can't allow people to silence you and to allow our government to silence us, right? I mean, this is absolutely asinine.
Well, that's the scary thing, you know what I mean, about speaking up and having a voice, you know what I mean? Stuff like
Yeah.
this happens. And I mean, I guess we just kind of have to bide our time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And hopefully we don't get silenced in one way or another, or shadow banned,
Well, all we're
or
doing
whatever.
is asking questions. That's all we're
Yeah.
doing.
Well,
I'm
if
just saying,
she can ask questions, you know what I mean,
yeah,
and bring a voice
right.
to this
Yeah.
question that everyone's scared to ask. Who
Yeah.
knows? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. So here's a little couple videos I have of this where they're talking about it, and see if it kind of sparks a little something in you that makes you go, hey, you know what? Maybe this just isn't quite right, and we should maybe push back a little on this and say, you know what, we can't allow this. We need to be able to speak out against our government. That's why we have a First Amendment, oddly enough. It's really weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I can figure out what's going on here.
Former Democratic U.S. Representative and Army Reserve officer Tulsi Gabbard is taking legal action against the Biden administration for reportedly putting her on a terrorist watch list.
What the?
My own government, my president, my commander in chief is targeting me as a potential domestic terrorist. The closest word that comes to mind is a complete sense of betrayal.
Gabbard said she learned of being on the Quiet Skies watch list, a TSA program monitoring elevated risks to aviation security, from 2 TSA whistleblowers following an appearance on Fox News. In an interview with Laura Ingraham, Gabbard criticized U.S. intervention in Ukraine, calling it a proxy war. Afterwards, she said she began to be more subject to more frequent and tedious searches. The whistleblowers reportedly acknowledge Gabbard is being trailed by agents. But the reason...
Oh my God.
Seriously?
Are we living in commie Russia?
I love Gabbard too. She
awesome.
says exactly what's on her mind all the time.
Yeah. But see, that's the problem. We should be able to say what's on our mind. We should be able to criticize our government and not have this type of shit happen to you. I mean, this is freaking Nazi Germany, commie Russia, Soviet Union crap, dude.
Yeah. I can't believe.
This is scary shit. And if this is actually true, which it sounds like, because I've got 2 other clips to kind of back this up. I mean, this is nuts. So let's continue on.
Reason is still unclear.
Of course, there's no explanation given, which is why we are taking legal recourse.
Gabbard believes her criticism of the Biden administration may be the reason.
Obviously, I've been very outspoken about the dangers of the Biden-Harris administration to our democracy and to our freedom and to our national security. And this is what happens as a result.
The revelations have also...
I just kind of want to bring that up. I don't care if you like Tulsi or you don't like Tulsi. Because if you don't put this on your other foot, flip this around, and it were the other way around, to criticizing Trump administration or whatever, and this were to happen, would you not be up in arms, those of you who are happy about this? I mean, you can't sit there and what's good for the goose is good for the gander. So you can't sit there and be happy that this is happening to her, because if it were the other way around, people would be up in arms. And it's just crazy.
Yeah. People would be freaking out, and rioting in the streets. I mean, that's I don't get it.
We can't allow this to continue. And this is ridiculous.
This sparked outrage among Hawaii lawmakers, the state Gabbard represented in Congress. 4 state representatives sent a letter to the TSA demanding answers and calling the move harassment. Reports say several agents and 2 explosive detection canine teams followed Gabbard and her husband in the airport last month. The TSA reportedly is investigating the identity of the whistleblowers who leaked sensitive security information in Gabbard's case. The agency declined to comment on the alleged retaliatory probe, but said Quiet Skies uses a risk-based approach to identify passengers and apply enhanced security measures on some domestic and outbound international.
Were those the same standards that we used after 2001 when the towers came down, that we pulled old ladies outside in the line to pat them down, give them extra because of equality and equity of searches? Yeah, I'm sorry, but if you got a white guy that robbed a liquor store, do you pull over every black guy that's out there or Hispanic guy or whatever? No, you go for a white guy.
You know, you're
So if
looking
you
for a white.
had,
Yeah.
yeah, if you had Middle Eastern, supposedly Middle Eastern terrorists who took down the planes, and those were the people who were against the Western culture, and the U.S. just happens to be the biggest one, and in the way they can make a message out of it. You pull over anybody that might look suspicious as a terrorist, not a little old grandma with her four little great grandkids or grandkids or whatever in line. It just, oh, but we don't want to look like we're biased. We don't want to look like we're profiling, but we'll pull grandma over.
Yeah,
It's
just
the same kind of bullshit they're using as an excuse for this, right?
yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it just happens to be Gabbard, right?
Oh,
It just
she
happens to be her.
She just happens to be outspoken about the crap that's going on with this administration, at least in her eyes and opinion, and lots of others as well. But you should be able to criticize. Oh my God. Last little bit, and then we'll move to the next video real quick.
National flights. The agency did not confirm or deny Gabbard's inclusion in the program.
Of course they did.
For Straight Arrow News, I'm Lauren.
You just have to sit there and just go, oh my God, what the F is wrong with you people? That this is acceptable in our society in the United States. You know,
What makes it okay? You know,
Right.
it's the same concept that, you know, weaponizing the judicial system. You
Right.
know,
Yeah. Now it's exactly that. You're exactly right. It's like, why the F are we doing this to our own people, and all in the
Mhm.
name of safety and security? Give me a break. What was it? Benjamin Franklin's old quote is, those who wish to sacrifice the freedoms for safety and security will have neither. I paraphrase, but that's basically the quote. So we can't live here in a plastic bubble and protect ourselves from every little threat that's out there. We're gonna have to live our lives a little bit, right? And deal with some
I mean,
threats.
yeah.
Yeah. So here's these guys from Hawaii talking about this whole thing as well, just to show you that it's not just that one outlet that maybe nobody's ever heard about before. So here's some other shit.
Hawaii lawmakers are demanding answers from the TSA.
They want to know why former Hawaii Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard is included on the TSA's suspected terrorist watch list. Republican state representatives Gene Ward, Diamond Garcia, David Alcos, and Elijah Perrick sent a joint letter yesterday to the TSA director coming to Gabbard's defense. They claim that air marshals have harassed Gabbard and her husband on flights.
Now, we reached out to the TSA
Unacceptable,
for
man.
comment, and a spokesperson told us in part that its Quiet Skies program uses a risk-based approach to identify passengers and apply enhanced security measures. Now, it would not confirm or deny whether Gabbard's on that list.
And Gabbard told us in a statement, the real pain this has caused is the stress of forever looking over my shoulder, wondering if and how I am being watched, what secret terror watch list I'm on, and having no transparency or due process. It's
That's
not
a big one there.
about me. Every American has the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. They have taken that away from me and my family.
I mean, unbelievable. With
She's
this,
committed no crime.
no,
She's committed no crime.
she's suspected of this for a reason or several reasons they are not willing to tell you. So it's like, Rude, I'm going to tell you, I'm sorry, buddy. I hate to tell you, but I suspect that you are going to be robbing a liquor store later. And like Minority Report, I'm going to arrest you prior to your crime.
Yeah.
Put you on a little watch list, at least, if nothing else, so that I can arrest you. Because, oh, well, wait a minute, you kind of headed towards that liquor store, buddy. I mean, right? I mean, this is where we're at, and it's unbelievable.
It's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah. So here's one last little quick one. This is like a minute long or 49 seconds. So let's check this out one last time, just to really push forward home that this is not just a isolated news report here and there. So let's check this one out as well.
Several local lawmakers who are firing back after learning that former Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard was placed on the terror watch list. Representatives Gene Ward, Diamond Garcia, David Alcos, and Elijah Purick sent a letter to the TSA asking for answers, calling the move harassment. The Air Marshal National Council says whistleblowers told them that Gabbard is included in the Quiet Skies program, which monitors elevated risks to aviation security. Now, reports say that at least 5 agents and 2 explosive detection canine teams were following Gabbard and her husband last month.
Can you imagine walking through the airport and you happen to, look at it, and then you turn your shoulder, you look behind you, and you notice, why are
There's
these
bomb dogs?
Why are the bomb dogs and 5 agents still following? Are they following us, or is it just my imagination?
Oh my God.
And then you go to one of the other little stores and grab a little Starbucks or something like that, and you look back again, and they're still there. They haven't come any closer. They haven't gone any farther away. They're about the same distance away as they follow you down, and you're just like, is it just my imagination? Would that not make you start to be a little more paranoid about stuff?
Of course, yeah.
I mean, holy crap, dude. This is a bunch of bullshit that we cannot handle, because if it's not Tulsi, if it's anybody else, and obviously they're targeting people who are famous, well known, who are out there in the political realm or have voices, the Joe Rogans, anybody like that in the world, because they can make a scapegoat out of them, basically. It's like, well, it's like Trump with all the trials he went through and all this shit. They're trying to make a mockery of him and say, if we can do it to him, we can do it to you.
Yeah.
So if we take down the biggest head on the Hydra or whatever, that we could take the rest of them out as well.
Well, it's almost like they're trying to make examples out of these people.
Yeah.
If you're against us, look what we can do to you.
Remember Chuck Schumer? Remember his little, we've got 6 ways a Sunday to take you out.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Is that like not a threat to the American people? You
1,000
loving piece of shit.
And he doesn't have bomb dogs following him around the airport. Like, come on, guy.
Oh yeah. Well, then Madonna and Sean Penn and Johnny Depp threatening the president with, when was the last time a president was assassinated? Remember, that was a few years ago. Well, guess what, Johnny? We just got your prophecy just came true. And Madonna and Kathy Griffin with her little effigy of Trump's bloody head, and somebody else did that, but nothing's happened. Were they followed in the airport as well for threatening the president's life?
Yeah, those weren't threats. Like, come on.
Yeah. I mean, if we're going to threaten her, can we at least make it even across the board that everybody who might be a threat is followed? Put on the Quiet Skies watch list. I mean, it's.
Gabbard, who has been highly critical of the Biden administration, says that the decision to track her is unconstitutional and politically motivated. The TSA has not responded to a request for comment.
Well, that is a shocker. I would never. They haven't responded.
Of course.
Unbelievable, dude.
They're on vacation, man.
Right. I sit there and I just like, if we're not making this fair for everybody who has actually threatened the president's life, then we have somebody who's outspoken on this. I'm surprised that Joe Rogan's not on this list as well. He could be, for all I know. And anybody else who has a podcast, like, not like this, because they actually have people who watch it, but hopefully we'll get there someday. But, I mean, it's like you got to be able to do this. And if we can't, then something's not right in the world. So anyway, that's the deal with Tulsi. If you didn't know what's going on in the world there, and people are being put on a list without any explanation, without any reasoning, without any transparency about it, we're entering a slippery slope here of communism, Marxism, and things like that, and it's not good, and we need to end this stuff. So anyway, I think that's it for this one, and then we'll get to the next topic on the next episode here, Rude.
All right, sounds good.
All right, everybody, thanks for watching. We'll see you all on the next one. See ya.